Can we give people the finger on the show? Oh, never mind.
We mad?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm enjoying this time off. So today we're going to be talking about colorism. And colorism does not only happen in the Black community, it happens in different communities. So you could be Black, you could be Latino, you could be Indian. So it's not just in one community. Right now, what we're talking about will be just in our community because we can only go based off of certain things that we've seen, and especially in our community. So we figured we would talk about that. And if anyone wants to call in and share something, their experiences, please do. So,
do we have a number for them to call?
is it behind us? Let's see. We will have to find the phone number for you guys. But colorism basically is discrimination based on skin color. I want to pull up the definition because I want to make sure I gave you the right definition. So, basically discriminating against someone of your race, your nationality, but the discrimination is based on their skin color. So it could be colorism. They call it shadeism. And it says a form of prejudice and discrimination in which people who share similar ethnic traits are perceived as different or treated differently just due to that, just due to their skin tone.
Right.
So we just want to talk about that because it's a lot of information on it that I've seen so far. Some of it I had to stop looking at because I'm like, it really can get overwhelming and become a bit much. So let's start with, and this was what we're talking about: celebrities. We're talking about everyone because you see this a lot in the entertainment industry, Hollywood, which is Hollywood, music. You see it in a lot of different venues. You see it in movies. You see it on television shows. You see it in music videos. You see it in some people who are picked to move on and say different. If they're contestants on a game show or something, sometimes they'll even pick them over somebody darker because they're lighter, not because of talent. So let's start with Hazel E. This was back in 2018. It was a comment she had made. Said, "I'm tired of all these monkey looking dark butts coming for my pretty A." So I'm looking like, oh, because I had never heard that before. And then she went on to say that her mom told her that dark skinned girls wouldn't like her just because she was light skinned.
I can see that.
That's crazy.
I mean, but like, I'm gonna be honest. Like, it's always been a thing where it's always been team dark skin, team light skin, or it's always been an issue of light skin people don't like dark skin people, or dark skin people don't like light skin people. Like, I'm not surprised that
but for your mother to teach you that though. And the mom, and I kind of got it. I was watching Fix My Life with Ayanla, and she was on the show, and her mom was on the show also. So the reason she was giving for why she had issues with darker skinned women is because she was molested by women that were dark skinned. And then, like, she was saying how her mom being a lighter complexion, her mom was saying how she was treated, how girls used to pick on her, tease her, and used to be like, "Oh, you think you're all that because you have long hair." So the mom was saying how they actually took scissors one day and cut her hair at school. And when and then when she wore her hair curly, they picked on her also. About, oh, you think you better than us because you light skinned, you got curly hair. So I mean, I could understand why you're angry, why you're upset, but that's still to me not an excuse to dislike all dark skinned people. Like, everybody dark didn't do something to you.
Right. But I mean, also, like, darker complected people, sometimes she shake kids, like, well, because they light skin, they gonna think they better than you and things like that. And that might not even be the case. So I can't just put it on one side, because I see both sides. I see how dark complected people could feel, and I also see how light skinned people could feel. Because just because they light skin don't mean they always was treated better. Because I think it honestly,
not all the time.
I think it honestly, like the color is, I think it's just honestly, it goes back to slavery for me.
It does.
That's why. So when they separated the lighter complected African or black people and let them allow them to work into the work within the houses, and then the darker complected people were in the fields, or even after slavery was kind of over with and we were able to go out and get jobs. If we were lighter and almost white, we were able to be in the front of the store and things like that. If you was darker, so they always kind of like separated us, and then we started doing it to each other because we were taught that. So you basically is what you were taught.
But you know what? Ayanla came up with a really good point. She was saying how people are so upset because, we make comments about the house ends, talking about how, they were treated better because they were licensed. She was like, the only difference is they got raped first. Yeah. Because they were in the house. And for us, you had to come out to the field to get us.
Yeah, and they were always treated. I mean, like, just because I'm in the house, I mean, I'm getting treated so much. Yeah, I'm in the house, but I'm getting abused. I'm getting disrespected. I'm getting raped. And then even like, okay, if I'm like, white people might not accept me. I might be almost their skin complexion, but they're not accepting me and telling me to come over here. And then my own people, like, they're not accepting me either. So then I'm on my own, because I know a lot of, usually when I see either a light-skinned male or a light-skinned female or something, or the vice versa, dark skin, they usually date the opposite. Either like the light-skinned woman might like the darker complected man just because of the things and the trauma that she went through, being teased and all that type of stuff. So they don't want their kids to be as light as them. They want pretty black babies, curly hair. And then sometimes darker complected people, they got teased because, you're dark skin and all this type of stuff. So they don't want their baby to have this darker skin and stuff. So they usually go for the lighter complected female.
I've known some lighter complexion people who intentionally dated lighter skinned people because they didn't want their kids to be dark. Oh. Like, I've actually heard that for a long time. I remember one of my coworkers, she's brown skin. She brought her a young man that she was dating into her house, and this was some years ago. So this had to have been probably maybe the 60s, maybe 50s, something like that. It was a long time ago. And she said she brought young man home. He came in, he spoke to her mom, and her mom looked at her and was like, "Get him out of this house. Like, he is too dark. Don't you ever bring anybody this dark in our house." And a lot of families are taught that and have been for years. If you look at, like, there are some families, if you ever notice, everybody's light skinned. Nobody is dark. And some of those families, I'm not saying all of them, but some of those families have been taught, don't bring anybody dark in our house. Right. Like, I had a friend, we went to some years ago. We were graduating from high school, and we went to her graduation party. I was definitely I was the darkest person there. Her whole family, everybody was light complexion except for one person. And I was like, I could not imagine how that must have felt to be the only dark person in that whole family. Everybody else there were light skinned.
Yeah. To see that,
because even though it might not be intentional, sometimes kids are going to treat you different.
That's true.
Kids are going to point out that you don't look like everybody else.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's definitely deep rooted in our culture, and it definitely does stem from slavery days. And it's like, it's crazy though, because it's 2021. In the 2000s, we're still dealing with the same issues. I'm like, socially, people don't understand. We talk about how far we've came, and in some situations, it does look like we've come further than our parents were. At the same time, if you look at some of the social issues that we're still dealing with the same social issues from 40 years ago, from 60 years ago. So how far have we really come if we're still dealing with something like colorism? We haven't come that far when it comes to stuff like this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, I'm like, we got so many battles that we're fighting right now, and it's sad that we still fight this in our own backyard, in our own community, and things like that. When we got so many other, I have my daughter is dark skinned, beautiful, gorgeous. I love her skin complexion or whatever. People have said mean things to her or whatever, and she doesn't, like it or whatever. And I had to go up to the school. And when I did go up to the school because a girl said something mean to my daughter to have a conversation, the girl was damn near the same complexion as my daughter. So I'm like, how are you calling people these names and y'all the same complexion? And they're like,
because they've been taught that our color, something's wrong with our color if we're too dark.
yeah.
That's what you've been taught since you were a kid. Like I remember as a kid, I was maybe in second grade. I never even thought about my color. Never thought about my complexion, never thought about any of it. And one of the kids, like when I think about it now, it doesn't bother me when they used to say, make comments about my complexion back then. Of course, I was trying to hit you because it's like, don't talk about me. Mm-hmm. So they used to compare me to a chocolate Hershey's candy bar, which is brown. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's not bad, but at the same time, it's not good either because now you're making me aware that I'm dark because that's what you're trying to say. So as a little kid, you don't think about that. You're not concerned with what complexion you are, or a lot of times you're not even concerned with what color you are until somebody else points out that, oh, you're dark and there's something wrong with it.
Yeah, I think we have to definitely teach ourselves and teach our kids self-love because people are going to talk about you like if it's not your skin complexion, it's your hair. If it's not your hair, it's the clothes. If it's not the clothes, just like people are going to say mean things. People, tease or say mean things, about you. So you just have to, I don't know. You just got to teach your kids self love because somebody is always going to talk about you. I don't care if you dark skin, if you light skin, if you got long hair, if you got people just gonna find a way to pick away at you.
Yeah, but
see,
it's still a problem because you can't just teach your kids to have thicker skin. You need to teach these other kids to stop bullying other people. Like, look at K. Michelle. Mm-hmm. And this is kind of going off topic a little bit, but look at K. Michelle. Mm-hmm. I saw K. Michelle, and I was just on Facebook yesterday, and I'm scrolling through, and I see her, and I just see a lady. So I'm like, oh, she's pretty, and I'm about to keep going. Then I see her name. I'm like, get out of here! Like that is not K. Michelle. So I then went back. I looked again. I was like, oh my gosh. First off, she's lighter than she was before. Mm-hmm. Her face looks completely different. Most people are not going to do things like this unless there's something said. People are making you feel like you're inferior, like something's wrong with your nose, something's wrong. Because if you look at her picture now, her features are softer. Yeah. So you done went and
because of what people said, and then that's why I'm saying we have to teach our kids. Just because somebody say something about you doesn't mean that you have to go and have surgery. If you love your nose, if K. Michelle needed to do that to make herself feel better about herself, to make her love herself, because now you doing this to please other people. Like my family, we have big noses. We talk about our noses like, yeah, we got big noses. I own it. I love my nose. Like it is what it is, and people. Somebody else might not like my nose, but that's their issue. Like we can't teach our kids, because people are going to say stuff. We get teased. We got teased very hard when we were younger. Like things happen, but you got to love yourself. If you don't like it, don't look at it. Don't worry about it. Like you can't. Even you also have to teach your kids. Don't say mean things to people. Yeah. But kids are kids. Kids are. I mean,
it's not kids. Kids
gonna say, yeah. Well, I can't help adults. But kids are going to say mean things. Yeah, at some point, you got to know.
But it has to be addressed because the problem is children that are bullies become adults that are bullies. So if you tease and harass people when you're younger, there are no consequences. You continue doing that. You're doing it as a kid. You're doing it in high school. You're doing it as an adult. Because I've seen adult bullying. I've seen it at work. Mm-hmm. And it's ridiculous. But the thing is, I understand. I agree with you. We do have to teach our kids to have thicker skin. At the same time, everybody is not built like that. That's true. Everybody is not going to be able to take those insults and just be like, I'm not worried about them. I know how I look. Some people, that's destroying them. That's destroying their self-esteem. That's ripping them to shreds because we don't know what they're dealing with at home. Imagine people who already get bullied at home, then you have to go to school, and then you get picked on and teased and bullied.
That's true.
And then we wonder why they're doing all this, because there's no reason you should feel like in 2020 you have to lighten your skin. They shouldn't have had to feel like that back in the day. But now it's 2021 and you're still lightening your skin. Why are you bleaching your skin? Because somebody else made you feel inferior? Because for years we've been told that if we're dark, that's a problem.
But then sometimes, like, what if the person just don't like their skin?
But why?
Huh?
Most people don't have a problem with their skin. Again, until somebody else mentions something about you, most people don't care about how. Most people are good with how they look because they don't realize to somebody else it's a problem.
Right, but just like you might not, just like you said, there's some families like there might be the only dark skinned person in their family. And their family might not even made it an issue that you're the only dark skin. They can't help it if you're the only dark skin in their family, and they might have never said nothing about your skin complexion. But just because you see it and you notice, like eventually you will notice, like I'm darker than everybody else in my family. You're gonna notice that,
and you're trying to understand why.
But and it's like, well, maybe I think they're prettier than me, or maybe I just want to look like them, or whatever the case may be. So what if they do start bleaching their skin?
Then that's when you gotta talk to your kids.
Like it ain't
you have to talk to your child.
But I'm saying, like, even if you say you're beautiful, but what if it's already in their head?
It don't matter. Most times people are not talking to these kids. They're not teaching them that their black is beautiful, that their skin tone is beautiful.
Honestly, I have I think it is better now because people are just mean, but I think it is a lot better than it used to be back in the day because now black girls are winning. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they are, getting more attention and things now, like the adversity was back in the day. I think it is. I think it's different because like the natural hairstyles, the different things. So I think it ain't came a little ways. But I ain't gonna say we back where it was. Yeah, I think we could do better, but
a lot better.
But honestly, we're just learning how to really love our hair. We've been told like our hair is bad. People think it's because you see nappy hair and all this type of stuff, or kinky hair. They call our hair nappy, kinky, dirty, and also like it's bad. We're honestly just now learning how to take care of our hair.
But again,
we didn't know how to take care of our hair. So what does that mean? Like,
but again, that's still about people attacking you. That's still about people making you feel like you're less than. Like I remember I told you before, when I first went natural, it wasn't I didn't see a whole lot of people going natural at this time. And I just decided I've been talking about it for a minute, and I've been saying that I was going to stop wearing perms, stop doing everything. So I decided to just start pressing my hair out so my hair was straight. I did that for about a year before I finally said, skip it. Let's see how my natural curls look. I wasn't really ready for it. I was kind of scared because I'm used to straight hair. And as soon as I did that, I had like 2 people that they were looking at my hair and they were like, oh, like you look like you're straight out of Africa with that hairstyle. And I'm like, really? And then somebody else is like, like you need to straighten your hair. Like, we don't like your hair like this.
Yeah. So just imagine if that just happened to you as a grown person, because that had to happen within the last 10 years?
It was probably about 2012. All
right. So when
I first started wearing the curly.
So within the last 10 years, these people haven't grown that much. They haven't evolved that much. And they were still able to say something like that just because your hair was different.
And these are black women, though. Right. That's where the biggest problem comes at.
It was always taught, your hair is snappy. Put a perm in that straight. We've been perming here. I've seen 3-year-olds get perms in their hair. Now we know better. We're getting more educated. A lot of people I know, not saying everybody, but when they're put a perm in their hair now, I want to put a perm in my kids.
Why were we perming our hair? Because we wanted our hair straight. Because who is the model of perfection? Who are we trying to emulate? We're trying to have straight hair like somebody white.
Yeah, and that's what we were taught. And that's how it's always been. So if we're just now learning now that our hair is beautiful, our black girl magic, we just started learning this within the last 10 years. Is what I'm saying. Like my daughter is 13, so we just really started learning this in the last 10 years about, our hair likes water. you would have. I didn't know our hair likes water,
right? Because we were told not to wet our hair.
We were told not to wet our hair, but put some water on some black girl hair. What? No, that was never going to happen.
Right. So think about colorism then. Like it's the same thing when you're looking at colorism. We've been taught that white is always better. We've been taught that as close to white as you can get, then that's perfection. So if you're light skinned, you're better than everybody else. And that's what a lot of people have really been taught, and they've drilled it into their heads. So for years, it's like, oh, if you're dark, there's something wrong with you. You dark skinned, you got nappy hair. It's a whole lot of light complexion people who don't always have the best texture of hair. Yeah. Just like you have darker people too. So it's like a lot of the things that we've been taught have been passed on for generation to generation. This stuff didn't just start, this has been passed on for years. And it's unfortunate because it's really just like destroying our community. Like even with Hazel E, for her mom to tell her that, how you felt like you were treated. And I understand that, but then you pass that on to your daughter, and then you had your daughter talking about how pretty you are just because you light skinned. So you better than everybody else just because you light skinned. But obviously you got some self-esteem issues because you didn't did your whole face open.
I think when she definitely has self-esteem issues. You can tell she, and I feel like a lot of times when people are getting picked on and backed up into a corner or whatever, you lash out, you say some mean things or whatever. I think if she was in her right mind, I don't think she would have said that per se. But if I'm angry at you and I'm mad at you, I might, ain't no telling what might come out of Janice's mouth. That's why Janice tried to stay calm, because I might say some mean, nasty things. Will I feel like that? No, but it's that tongue. And she probably was trying to defend herself and was feeling some type of way. It was like, blase, blase, blase.
Or she said it because that's really how she felt and what she meant. Because the thing is, everybody doesn't just say anything because they're angry. Some people say exactly what they mean, what they think, and how they really feel. And considering the fact that she felt like she was better than dark-skinned women at that moment, I believe she said exactly what was on her heart and how she felt at that moment, whether it was wrong or not.
Maybe.
Because a lot of people do. A lot of people say exactly what they think, but you have to wait until they get angry to say it. Like some people won't say something until they're angry, and that's where you see the real them. Where I'm more of a jerk, whether I'm happy, mad, it doesn't matter. I still know what I'm saying. Now sometimes I might use certain words when I'm referring to people that I shouldn't when I'm angry, because at that moment you probably are exactly what I'm calling you. That don't mean I always think you that. But at that moment, if I'm calling you something, I mean it at that moment, because right now I'm mad and that's what I really think of. So that's the difference. So.
Yeah. And then like I can say, I already know, I'm gonna be honest, like if I'm angry, it could be some mean things that could probably come out of my mouth that I probably know I had to pray on, had to ask God to, work on my temper, work on my mouth, because ain't no telling what might come out my mouth. Like I literally had to go and sit down and have a conversation with the Lord, because I can say some things if I go there. Yeah. So, and I might not even necessarily mean what I'm saying, but I will say some dark, mean things, and I'm gonna keep completely 100, and it's not right, and I know it's not right, and the Lord told me it wasn't right. So. But I am, so I'm gonna be honest. So that's why I'm saying, like, I can understand when people get angry and they might lash out, because right now you're digging, you trying to say whatever that pops in your head that you could think of that might even hurt that person, which you probably shouldn't say. And I know I'm not the only person like that.
I mean, you're not, but at the same time, I try not to, because of the simple fact, I know whatever come out of my mouth, I can't take it back. Right. So if I tell you I hate you, or I say I cheated on you or something else, I can't take those things back. So even though we may work things out afterwards, there's no getting past that. Once you say certain things, they come out your mouth, that's it. That person's going to feel some type of way.
It is, but then I understand how human beings are. People say things in the heat of the moment when they're angry or whatever. I don't believe like that's just how everybody is. Not all people, but I don't know. I just see some difference, only because my own personal behalf, whatever. So I ain't gonna say like I ain't said some things, did some things that I probably shouldn't have, and at that moment I was angry and I was pissed or whatever. That's why I be trying to tell people, when Janice leave and get quiet or walk away, whatever, leave that girl alone. Let that girl be whoever. Just let her go and let her be, because when Niecy come, it's a whole nother. So Jenny J, just let that girl be.
So let's talk about Kodak Black. And I guess this was a while ago. He made a comment. He made a few comments. He said, what did he say about Keke Palmer? He said, I guess he don't like her because of her complexion. And he was talking about black, dark-skinned women are black bees.
Oh.
And talking about he like lighter skinned women. He don't mess with dark skinned women. He don't like us because we're black bees. But he liked the lighter complexion women because they're easier to break down than darker women. He said darker women are just too tough. And it is crazy. I heard him talk about it. Like I actually pulled it up because I wanted to really hear this and hear this idiot actually say it out of his mouth. And I was like, first off, the fact that anybody, Kodak Black could barely speak a proper sentence. So it's true. First off, I was offended by his ignorant comment. As black as he is, and you want to put down black women, but
like I don't like the put downs. Like everybody, you can have your preference. I don't care if you like light complected women or I don't care who you like. That's your business, whatever. But you don't have to put me down or women like me or my skin complexion or whatever in order, to make somebody else feel good. Or if if you don't want to date a black woman, don't date a black woman.
Right. We are not missing anything.
But to try to put us on, because at the end of the day, if you have a child, your daughter could be your skin complexion, Kodak Black. Like he's dark skin, so your daughter can potentially be your skin complexion, and she gonna one day see the video, and that's how my daddy feel about me, or how he feel about women that's like my skin complexion. So we have to be very conscious of the things that we say, especially because it's gonna come back to haunt us, and it could be your grandmother, your mother. You talking about black women, this, and you don't like this and all this. Just say you prefer to date white women and keep it moving, or light skinned women.
But even as a light skinned woman, I would still be offended. Now, as a dark skinned woman, I was definitely offended because I was like, he's just ignorant. But as a lighter complexion woman, for you to say I'd rather date a light skinned woman because she's easier to break down. So basically, you just say I'll date the light skinned girls because they're weak. I can control them. I can run them. Like, how ignorant is that? Like, not only are you disrespecting dark skinned women, but now you're disrespecting women, period, black women, period, because you're saying either way, I don't like them because they're too black. I don't like them. I mean, I like them because they light, and I can tell them what to do, so you can run them.
Well, I mean, I hadn't heard that before. A lot of black men sometimes don't like dating, black women, whether they light skin, dark skin, whatever, and they choose to date a different race.
That's because those men are weak.
But I can't take Kodak Black serious. Anybody else with some character or something? I can't take him seriously.
Not really, because the next one to me is no better.
I can't take him seriously. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, he's not no prize his own self. So who's next?
When he could articulate a proper sentence, then we might hear something he has to say. So Chris Brown was another one. And they said this has been something that's been going on for years, where he like at the club, he's saying he don't want any darkies in his section and turning people away because they're too black. Talking about the light, let me see. The light-skinned women can come. The white women he like. Black women, he don't mess with them. Or the dark-skinned women. And then one of his boys actually kind of put him out there and told the women, like, no offense, but he don't really mess with black women. So if they're not as light as him or lighter, then it's a problem. And I just thought it was interesting because my thing is somebody was like,
that's different. Like, okay, I could get if you don't want to date or whatever, but they can't be in the same area as you.
No. Let me tell you something. It's a difference between you having a preference. Everybody has a preference. Some people don't care what complexion you are. As long as you look nice to them, they'll date you. Some people, they do have a preference. They want somebody lighter complexion. Some want somebody darker. That's not an issue. The issue is the disrespect and the ignorance that goes behind it. First off, why do we have to be darkies? Because we're dark complexion. That's where it's an issue at. It's not an issue on what complexion person you want to date, but for you to disrespect us, for you to put us down, for you to kind of downplay us, degrade us, and act like we're beneath you because we're a certain shade. That's disrespectful. That's ignorant. It's stupid.
I ain't know Chris Brown was like that. I like Chris Brown.
I don't.
Oh, I did like him. I thought I liked him. I don't know. I didn't think he was like that. Tell me it ain't so.
Oh, it's so. I actually checked it out myself because I wanted to see, because I kept hearing about it. And I was like, let me check it out and see. I was like, we listen to Chris Brown music. Like, it's funny, the people who support, and that's what a lot of other Black women were saying, the people that support you the most are the ones you want to put down. Like, you dumb people don't understand. Y'all putting us down and acting like we're beneath you because of our color, but we're the ones buying your music. We're the ones downloading your music. We're the ones going to your concerts. We're the ones supporting you. We the ones that supported you when all that drama happened with you and Rihanna. And we supporting Rihanna. We also supporting you and saying, well, okay, hopefully, it was a misunderstanding, and because both of them were fighting, even though he did mess her up, and people were like, okay, he messed up, let's give him a chance. Like, all these people are supporting you, and
was he drunk when he said this?
I don't care if he was drunk. I don't care if he was high on crack. I don't care what he was.
I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt.
You stop trying to give these people the benefit of the doubt for disrespecting us. Because if it was your baby, you ain't giving nobody the benefit of the doubt. You're gonna be looking like, you came for my baby, now I'm about to deal with you.
Yeah, I mean, if they ain't checking for you, we ain't checking for them. I mean, I'm not impressed. I mean,
at all. But I still have a problem with this. Then y'all not only disrespecting us, but you disrespecting us in public. Oh, he wasn't done. So after that, what he said, no darkies in this section. What was her name? Tokyo from Love and Hip Hop. So Tokyo had something to say about it. He came after her. So they got into it to the point where he actually blocked her. And then when he unblocked her just to go off on her again. So what did he say? He was like, after people checked him about that comment, he was like, oh, talking about y'all got a problem. I forgot what he called them. He's very disrespectful again. And then told them to post their pictures then. So basically,
was he high?
I don't care if he was high or not. We not about to go there. We are not about to go there. It doesn't matter. Listen, I don't care if you high. I don't care if you drunk. I don't care if you mad. When you disrespect Black women or even men just because of their complexion, you have a problem. And especially when you are another Black person.
Yeah, he was out of line. He shouldn't have said that.
Completely.
I mean,
he's canceled.
Yeah, I think he's going to lose a lot of followers and things like that. That's why I'm saying we always got to be more conscious of the things that we're putting out there. Because as you said, it's Black people, and particularly Black women, that's really supporting you, so I don't know what to say about that.
And that's where I have a problem at, because y'all want to keep coming after us, and we the ones supporting you idiots. You wouldn't be where you are in your career without your fans.
Yeah, but that's typical, behavior. I mean, I'm not like really surprised, because we have always seen a lot of times Black men always want to, put down a Black woman and things like that. When we always be the ones, supporting your butt, hold your butt up, and had you, took care of you, held you up when everybody else kicked you, and then you come and you kick us. So
right.
I'm not really surprised, because that's already something that he ain't seen. Yeah, like it's a lot of things the way he was talking. I know he don't know no better.
I love how you keep on trying to give these people excuses. Listen, I'm gonna need you to stop. I'm gonna need you to stop making excuses for these people and call people out on their crap. You're dead wrong. Dead wrong. There is no excuse for this type of behavior. There is no excuse for this type of mentality. We not in slavery days, so stop acting like some slaves. You well-paid slaves. That's what you acting like. They giving you all this money, and you just kissing the master's butt and insulting us and putting us down.
That's true.
For what? Just for everybody else's acceptance? Because at the end of the day, when you don't have that money, who you think gonna be there? Your community that you came from, that you keep putting down. That's who gonna be there.
Who else? I don't want to talk about Chris Brown no more. He hurt my feelings.
Chris Brown is canceled. Boo. Canceled. We tired of him and his nonsense. Who was that? Kodak Black, done. Never paid him any attention anyway, but really don't like him now.
He's shooting up houses with kids, and I ain't nobody paying him no attention. Who else?
So this was another girl, because I was looking on social media, looking on YouTube and stuff like that, pulling up just videos and information. So this one lady, she was on there just going off, and she was like, dark skinned women are mad because men will prefer light skinned women over us. Just because they're light skinned, so they look better. It's not their fault. We shouldn't be mad. And like, I know some people are really nice and people want to be diplomatic and say, oh, nobody is ugly. Let's be real honest. Some people are ugly and some people are not. It does not have anything to do with your complexion, whether you ugly or not.
I'm gonna tell you something. Eye is in the, what is it? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
Because somebody who I think is cute might not be your cup of tea. And that's fine with me, because I don't want my cup of tea to be your cup of tea anyways.
Right.
But like, and then I have seen some fine people, like fine, but their personality and attitude will make you so ugly and disgusted that when I see you coming, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like, I bomb it. Like, I don't like that. But so it all depends. So,
but the complexion has nothing to do with the skin tone. Your color has nothing to do with your beauty. And if that's how you judge how someone is beautiful or not, you have a problem.
Right.
That means you really need to reevaluate your life because you don't love you.
Or sometimes people was taught hate. A lot of time hating is taught.
Yeah, but that still means you don't love you, because at the end of the day, if I'm a
if
black
you're not
man
taught to
and
love
I feel
yourself,
like,
people don't. You're not.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not taught self-love, you're not. No, if you're not taught about, if people don't have self-esteem, like I tell people, it's called self-esteem. I can't expect, if I don't love Janice, I can't expect nobody else on me. I can't find my beauty in nobody else. When I look at the mirror, I got to deal with whatever Janice got going on. So
yeah,
it's called self-esteem for a reason.
But at the end of the day, at some point, we are all accountable for what we do. And as a society, we don't hold each other responsible or accountable unless we feel like it at that moment. Too many people get a pass on nonsense. And that's why we're still dealing with these issues. Because at some point, you had to know you were wrong. At some point, you had to understand what you were saying.
And then, like, at my think, like, okay, if you don't like to date black women or whatever the case may be, that's fine. You don't have to, but you don't have to be disrespectful. You don't have to do the name calling. You don't have to belittle. You don't have to do those things just because you don't like, black women, because your preference is fine. That's your preference. That's your preference. You're entitled. But what you're not gonna do is be disrespectful. Right. That's where I think we have to draw the line.
Yeah, because if you don't like us, that's fine. We don't want you anyway. We can do better. So this one guy I was looking at on YouTube, watching this video, it got to the point where I had to literally, I wasn't even halfway through the video. Really nasty, mean, negative things they were saying about black women, dark-skinned women in particular. And usually the stuff doesn't bother me. It just got to the point where I was like, it's too much. Like, for me as a dark-skinned woman, it bothered me to the point where I turned the video off. Because it's like, at what point, like, a lot of, and I'm not saying all black men are not the same, just like all black women are not the same. But I have a problem with the men who are supposed to be there, who are supposed to have our backs, because you always want us to have your backs. You whine and complain, like black men are whine and complain if a black woman decides to finally date outside her race. Well, you guys have been dating outside your race since forever. But you get mad if we do. Like, we deserve the same treatment that you're asking for. You're asking for us to love you, honor you, respect you. You have to do that. You can't receive certain treatment if you're not willing to do it yourself. So this man, black guy, and all the negative comments that I saw were actually coming from black men. So I'm just looking like, wow, like, I see it on social media all the time, but I also see a lot of positive comments about black women too. So like I said, I'm not saying all black men, but it's just amazing, just some of the things that were said. I was like, these men don't understand. You have a problem. You really messed up, and you're going to bring kids into this. You're going to have children. You're going to teach them that same hatred for yourself, that same hate for your people, that same ignorance. And we're going to have a whole new generation doing the same thing. So the comment he made was, He said, I do look at skin tones and complexions differently. He says, if a dark skinned or brown skinned girl or woman gets upset and flips out, he said, I'm turned off. He said, and I might even react physically with them. He said, now, if a light skinned or Latino woman does the same thing, he said, I personally find it to be cute and feisty. He was like, I don't know why, but that's just how I feel. So you'll physically attack us for the same behavior. Like, it's crazy. We deal with this in society. If a white woman flips out and a black woman flips out, we're looked at as loud, ghetto, ignorant. That white woman, oh, well, she was upset, she was provoked, it's downplayed. It's already completely different. So it's bad when society does this to us. But when your own people do this to you, like, it just amazes me. And then people act like, well, it's like, what was it? Let me see. It was some one person said, oh, it's called a preference. It has nothing to do with preference.
All right.
You mistreating people because of their complexion.
It's never okay to, dark complected, light skin, white, to put your hands on a woman. That shouldn't even, I don't care what she said. Like, just because she's dark skinned, that make you want to put your hands on her. And if a light skinned or Latino woman do that, it's feisty. That's crazy. That's something.
But it shouldn't be surprising. I mean, if you look at Jennifer Lopez she has a shape that most black women have. But we give her praise for that. Where black women, it's not looked at the same way. You look at Kim Kardashian. You bought and paid for our body. And yet we act like she's perfect. She's all this, she's all that. But when it comes to a black woman, it's still not the same. And that's just what society does. They bring up, oh, look at their butts or look at their bodies. And it's like, really? But when our bodies were talked about, it's not positive. Oh, our butts are too big. Look at our shape. Like, it's something negative. So I always find that to be interesting.
Well, I don't know. I don't usually hear the black men talking about a butt being too big.
Not black men. That's society, period. Yeah, they've been doing that for years.
But now that's the thing now that it's all about the butts and all this type of stuff. And women are letting people do crazy things, some inject their butts with this crazy stuff. And I don't know why they doing this, because like a butt ain't never stopped no show before. And I'm like, you letting people inject things into your body for these men that barely haircut for you. Like they really want to brush their teeth, but you willing to go to a hotel room and let somebody inject something foreign into your body for a butt. For what? They still gonna try to talk to you regardless if you got a butt or not.
That sounds like some self-esteem issues.
They do not care. Because I know personally, I don't have no butt, and I don't care. It ain't never stopped no show before, and it still ain't stopping no show. So I don't understand.
You irritating. You did not have to go there.
I'm just saying, because I'm tired of these women doing this crap. I don't know. They let these. I just seen something on YouTube. This girl in the hospital, and she in there, her butt looking crazy. Like,
they're trying to compete
for what? Compete with who?
The women that they think are better than them because their bodies look different. Instead of embracing what you have and go with it.
It'll be all right. But it's not that serious.
But for some people, it is. When you keep being told, oh, your body is messed up, you don't even have a butt, you don't have any breasts, then yeah, it does bother a lot of people. Because again, that's where people are telling you that there's something wrong with you. And you keep hearing, I don't care how strong you are, for some people, when you keep hearing anything drilled over and over again about how imperfect you are because of a certain part of your body, it does bother you because of your complexion or something else.
But yeah, I mean, I understand that, but for you to go to a hotel and let somebody, you don't even know what they're injecting into you, to put a foreign substance, a foreign substance to your body just because somebody
desperate. But again, we don't know. Listen, just because you wouldn't do it, I wouldn't do it, doesn't mean that some people won't. Because the thing is, we don't know when somebody has hit rock bottom. We don't know how desperate people are. Desperate people do desperate things. And for you to do that, that means you're at an all-time low when you would even consider something like that.
Yeah, well, that's why I think we have to teach. We have to start teaching our kids self-esteem, and nobody's perfect, so you're not gonna always have the biggest butt or the biggest chest and all that type of stuff. I think it's just we have to teach our kids self-esteem and just teach them what the value really is. And yeah, people might say stuff, and it might even be true, but you can't just go just because somebody says something about you. Right, you're gonna go jump off a building. You about to go let somebody cut on you.
But some people do, and that's the unfortunate part. Yeah. People need help, and we don't know anyone's mental state. We're assuming, some people are assuming that people are okay, and they're not. Yeah. You know, if you look at K. Michelle, she did all that. And now you done changed yourself again. Most people don't just do that just because. Little Kim, I remember they were talking about before she bleached her skin, it was a comment made about how people kept telling her how dark she was and how she would look better if she was lighter. And how your ex-boyfriends used to tell you that they mentally destroyed her. And now what do we have? A woman that doesn't look anything like she used to. She was beautiful. Now you you bleached your skin, you had your nose and everything else, your butt and everything else done because you listen to other people make you feel like you're not worthy unless you're light skinned. Now you look like a Asian looking white woman or something. I don't know what she looked like because it don't look like her.
Well, if that's what she wanted, I hope she feels beautiful. I just want her to feel.
She don't feel beautiful. I want her to feel beautiful. Listen, I'm gonna need. You know
we're
what?
Not go, no, we're next not gonna do that. Talk about colorism. No, but we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna say she don't look beautiful.
Mr. Producer, next time we talk about colorism, I need a dark skinned woman on here with me.
I didn't say she wasn't beautiful.
I'm gonna need another one that's not trying to be like, oh well, maybe they. No, we're not gonna get them.
But if she felt like she had to do that in order to make herself beautiful, I hope it helped her feel beautiful.
No, that means nothing. You could physically transform anything. That don't mean anything. If you're not fixing what's up here, you still not gonna be right. Look at Michael Jackson. How many nose jobs did he go through? Because you tried to get rid of your big. Yeah, you had a big nose. Some of us do. I got a big nose. I don't care. I still think I'm hot. But how many times did he change it? You done bleached your skin. You done changed your nose. How many times? No, but again.
But I don't think everybody that bleached their skin or do that has a mental issue. I don't think everybody that go and have surgery has a mental issue.
It's about your mentality.
I don't think that make them have a mental issue just because they're bleach their skin, or not. Some of them do, but not all of them. I can't say every person that had an issue with their skin or went and fixed something they didn't like about stuff had a mental issue. I don't think so. Maybe they just still
about self hate. It's about acceptance at the end of the day. Maybe you want to feel more accepted, so you do what you think will.
But
make
like that, sometimes that's just what it is. Some people like going to get plastic surgery done, and that's it. I don't think they have not everybody has a mental issue just because
these people we talking about have issues. We not gonna pretend they don't, even though she wants to be nice and act like I just don't think it's not what it is.
They might have, but I don't think everybody that goes and get cosmetic surgery or goes and bleach their skin have mental issues.
No, I didn't say that.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not going to say that they have mental issues. I'm going to say it's still a mentality for a lot of people. It's a mentality. It's something up here. I'm not saying you crazy. It's something lacking. And you feel like you could change it by doing it. That's why you have some people who get work done and then they keep going back under the knife. Yeah. You trying to fix it. You trying to fix the physical part. You got to fix the mental part. It's something else going on that's driving you to do this.
But yeah, that's different if they keep on doing it, going into the knife.
Some people you never know. They done had their nose done plenty of times and we don't realize it because we're not paying them any attention. They had their skin like I remember it was one celebrity. They had their skin lightened a bit. I never noticed it until somebody actually called them out and pointed it out. If it wasn't for that, I would have never noticed. I mean, I have my own life. I don't pay these people attention like that unless it's something said and then it gets your attention like, oh, like somebody like, hey, Michelle, you couldn't help but notice it. When last time I saw you, you had one face. Now I see you again, you have a totally different face and complexion. I mean, it's kind of hard to miss that.
So did she bleach her skin or did she do makeup? Because sometimes makeup can make you look very.
Girl, she lighter. We not about to play. Just saying. She's lighter.
Because how long do it take for you to bleach your skin in order for you to become lighter? Like I'm just saying.
Never know.
But she does look pretty. I will give her that. She does look pretty. I did think she looked pretty.
She was pretty before.
She was pretty before, and when I see the picture, I think she looks pretty.
Yeah.
So I think if she,
I
feel like if she stopped, I pray she don't go back under the knife or do nothing else. But she looks pretty.
We probably wouldn't know. She lost all her to me, she lost all her features that made her her. She lost her lips aren't as big as they were. Her nose is not as big as it was. You could see different things. And it's like she's trying to soften up her features.
She always said, like, even when she was on the reality TV show, she always said she goes underneath the knife. She don't have a problem with, if she don't like something, she said that her, and I believe that other guy, I can't think of his name, the gentleman, they go underneath the knife like
all that. I'm saying, so, when you come up with a whole new face, obviously it was something else going on. So how about this one? I was looking at this too online. It was saying how most dark-skinned, successful Black men in the entertainment industry have either a light-skinned, white, or foreign woman. If you look at the average Black guy, whether it's a ball player, whether it's somebody in the music industry, whether it's someone in Hollywood, like literally I can count 2 men who actually have a dark complexion wife that are Black men. All the rest of them, they're either super light or they're white or foreign, like they say. And some of them will let you know, oh, we don't like Black women. Like even Tay Diggs, I remember he had a meltdown because I guess people were saying something about the fact that he doesn't mess with Black women. He had a fit and was like, I'll date Black women. I want you. We don't want anybody on us. Don't do us any favors.
I mean, I'm like, if he don't want to date Black women, I'm not mad at him if he don't want to date. I don't care who people date. Like, just long as you're not if he said he don't date Black women, he prefers to date white women or whatever woman, I'm okay with that. I don't care if he don't want to date Black women, whatever. That doesn't bother me. But you can't sit up there and then put me, like, don't put us down.
Yeah.
That's my thing. So if you don't want to date a Black woman, that's fine. But you don't have to be like, oh, I don't like women, Black women. I don't date them because they got a bad attitude. That's why I date. Like, don't put me down to make this one feel.
We're loud, we're ghetto.
Like, yeah, don't do that. Just say I prefer to date white women. And I'm okay with that.
But that's honestly, fine.
That's your preference. But so it's okay. No, I want you to date who you want to date. If you don't want to date me, I don't want to date you.
If that's your preference, but in real life, you also have to look at it's more than just a preference. If just about if 90-something% of the Black men, successful men in these industries only date light-skinned, white, or foreign women, that's more than just a preference. It's something more to that. Because now it's like every successful Black man doesn't like Black women if they have a complexion, if they have any color to them. It's more than just that. Because I was looking at something before and they were saying how a lot of times when the Black men get in college, how they actually have white women date them and deal with them. That way they can marry them. And they said this is something that's been going on for years. They intentionally do this. And of course, our men go for it. And then it's, oh, I don't mess with these Black girls. They this, they that. Like, it's interesting to me, like everything, sometimes you have to look at stuff. Everything is not just a coincidence. Some things are intentional. Some things are set up to be a certain way. And you go right for it because there's no way you're going to say 90-something. And when I say 90-something, I mean probably 98% of them don't date Black women or Black women that are brown skin or dark skin. That's more than just
that much attention to it.
I've been seeing it for years. I've noticed it for years. And like, no disrespect to you, why would you?
What you mean? Why would
I'm a dark-skinned woman, so why would you? I mean, for real, not being funny. We know there's certain things.
I guess I never. So on a tonal post, so what am I?
Way lighter. We're not about to play with you right now.
But I don't feel like a light-skinned woman. I don't feel like a lighter. I feel like
you dark. Huh? You're not dark skinned.
I feel like I'm brown skin. I feel like I don't feel like I'm light skinned, but I don't feel
way lighter. So your experience as a Black woman is still not gonna be the same as mine as a dark skinned woman.
Right, just like
because they're not gonna look at you and you're not gonna get that, oh, she too dark or she this, she that. They're not going to say some of the things that said that I read. They're not going to say those things to you because you are way lighter. Where with me, I am the one that will be receiving some of those comments because of my color and complexion. So it's some things you'll never be able to understand.
So Chris Brown gonna let me in the VIP?
You might still be too dark for him.
I'm about to say, I'm like, I don't want him to let me in, but I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't be like, I feel like he wouldn't let me in.
No, you only missing out by one. You only missing out by one shade.
Like he wouldn't give me an autograph.
You only missing out by one shade.
That's why I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want nobody to go.
Nobody want him anyway. Skip Chris Brown. So I mean, it's a lot. Even
because because I take it personally because a lot of my family members are darker complected. I have a darker complected daughter, so I feel some type of way. Like if somebody, are they being disrespected? Type of, yeah, it's an issue. They ain't gonna know. Of course, y'all know me. No, that's not cool.
But this stuff, it does. Colorism is a really big issue in our community, and it's something that we need to talk about. It's something we need to address, and something we need to deal with. Like I'll give this last example. My grandmother was probably, I think, a little bit lighter than you. And her brothers were all high yellow. Her mom was high yellow. She was the darkest one. And people would see her with her family and be like, what's wrong with you? Like, why are you so dark? Like people didn't understand. They felt like something was wrong with her because she should have been as yellow and as light as her family members. And it bothered her. I never even knew that. She told me that, I forgot how long ago. She was in her 70s. We were having a conversation about it. And she told me, she said, that really used to bother me, that people, saw my complexion and wanted to know what was wrong with me. She said, I finally found one friend that never asked. She said, and then she turned around and said it. Even like my mom. Oops, I probably shouldn't say that, but too late. Even my mom was the darkest one. Out of my grandmother's side of the family, my mother was the darkest one. She's like a shade lighter than me. She literally was the only dark person out of her brother, her cousins. They were all lighter complexion. She was the darkest one. And she wasn't always, there was one particular family member that used to treat her different. And she felt like it was because of her complexion. And she was a kid and felt like that. As an adult, she said the same thing. Now, I didn't see it because me being darker than her, he didn't treat me like that. But then I actually got to see it for myself one time. And how he treated her. And I was like, wow, like I never noticed that before. Like he was always nice to me, but her being the darkest one out of the family on that side, she was treated differently by nobody else but that one particular person. But that still has to bother you because everybody else is lighter and you're the only darker person in that family. So it's just something to think about, guys. We need to really address this.
I feel bad. This is sad.
It's real life.
This is sad.
At least now we can address it more. We can actually talk about it. We can actually deal with it. Back in the 60s, it was hard to do that. You took the treatment you were given.
I don't understand why we have to be so mean. It's like a badge of honor, like to just be less mean. Like we don't have to be mean and hurtful and say these things about, black women or black men because, it goes both ways. Sometimes black women down black men and things like that, or we say mean things. Like we don't have to be mean. If you don't want to date a black woman or a black man, don't. But just you don't have to be mean about it. You don't have to say things to bring somebody down to make somebody else feel better, I think.
So basically, stop hating.
Yeah. So if that's your preference, that's your preference. Because at the end of the day, especially it makes us look bad if you're black and you're doing it because your mother is a black woman or father, somebody in your family is a black woman. So you shouldn't, be disrespectful. And then it don't matter just because you're light skinned, you could turn around and have a dark complected child. You don't know. So you need to be very conscious of the things that you're saying to bring people down. That's what I think. So that's all Jenny J got to say about it. Because I don't like it.
All I know is dark skin or not, our black is beautiful. And with that, we are done. And we will see you guys next time.
Right. Yep. Black girl magic.
Yes.
We out.
You make a move, make it better.
Yeah.
Forget the rest.
How y'all feeling?
Rocking with the best radio station on the planet. SDM Live Unplugged.